Yes, it's another day. It's another beautiful day for the NLA IT section um, virtual workshop series. So I think it's too cold this morning. So I'm going to put some light music. Okay, so my name is Sylvester. Where are you watching from? What's your name? We all know the drill. Please put in the comment section. Let me know where you're watching from. Over here in Nigeria, Asaba Delta State, it's 12:10 p.m. and it's afternoon already. So good afternoon from Delta State. Let me know where you're watching from. It could be from our neighboring countries, it could be abroad. Please let us know where you're watching from. Good afternoon, good morning, and good evening. My name is Sylvester, and I'm privileged to be the moderator for this wonderful program, Nigerian Library Association Information Technology Section Virtual Workshop Series. Today, we are going to be demystifying the concept cloud computing. And I'm so excited because I know the value that you're going to gain from the facilitator we have for today. He's an amazing person. I've been in a place where I learned under him, and today will be another wonderful experience. So please, so let me see those that are here. Good. I see Micah Boniface. Boniface says he's watching from Jos. I'm happy to know that you are here, Boniface. Elewude says he's watching from Ile-Ife, Osun State. Great to be here. I'm happy to know that you are here. EJ Bukameri is watching from Facebook. Madam is watching from Anambra State. Happy to know that you are here, ma. We also see Adewale Elewude. He says, great. I see Martins. Martins is here. He says, hello, presenter. My name is Martins from Adamawa State. We are happy that you are here. And I also see, I see Sunny. Sunny says, our digital librarian. Good afternoon. Good afternoon to you. That means you are watching from Nigeria. Josephine says she's watching from Abuja. Good to know that you are here. And we have Benjamin. Benjamin says he's watching from Edo State. Cicero is watching from Lafia. And Sunny has informed us that he's watching from Kaduna. So having said that, I want to say a big welcome to every one of you. Guess what? We have our facilitator backstage right now. I know you can't wait to meet him. We also have the chairman of the Nigerian Library Association, IT section. He's also backstage. I know you can't wait to see his beautiful face and his beautiful afro. Okay, so okay, I'm going to stop the music right now so that we'll start right away. So the music stops and then we go straight to the program. What do we have on our program for today? On our program for today, like I already mentioned, our facilitator is Engineer SEUN Adewoye. And the host, like we all are aware, if you are attending this program for the first time, this is the third in a series of the virtual workshop organized by the NLA IT section. And it is hosted by our chairman, Mr. Patrick Uzodinma Agwu. And I am only just honored to be the moderator for this program. My name is Sylvester Ebhonu. And also today, we hope to have our colleagues, Dr. Ngozi as vice chairman, and the PRO, Justice Okorie, to anchor the session with me. As we see on the screen, I'm going to take some little opening formalities and hand over to the chairman to give us his remarks before we meet our facilitator. So having said that, pardon me to go straight into introducing us to this association. I'm going to let our chairman speak about the NLA-IT section. However, you may just want to note that this session has been existing since 1997, and what we are doing right now is not the first time we are doing this. The session has empowered a lot of librarians in Nigeria and across in the area of IT. And these are the ESCOs, as you can see on the screen. Going further, I want you to know that these statistics you see here is the one we took last month. It showed that about 70% of the people who watch this our workshop series, they are actually not registered with the IT section. So what we want to appeal to you is it's just a very small amount, like the chairman will say. He says a very huge amount of 2,000 naira. Very huge amount of 2,000 naira is all you need to pay to be a registered member of this association, and you get access to trainings like this for free. This training is a free training. So what I want to ask you to do now, training, share this video to your friends, share it on your face. If you are watching from Facebook, share it on Facebook. Watching anywhere, copy the link, post it on a WhatsApp group, inform other people right now that we are live. Tell people that we are live and the training is about to start. Please, 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 please share this video, and invite other people to join us. So also I want you to know that at the end of this workshop, participants will be given certificates of participation, and only those who fill the attendance form. You know, we can't issue certificates to those who did not attend. So please make sure you watch and stay to the end and get the certificate of participation so that we can send you your certificates, also send you access to watch the replay video. And not just that, you also get access to the slides that will be used for this training. So please do well to comply with this announcement. So having said that, may I introduce to you our wonderful chairman. His name is Mr. Patrick. He is a librarian at Kennedy K Library. He's the university and is the head of the technical infrastructure and internet services section. He is a dynamic personality who is trained as a librarian in UI, also a science laboratory technologist. He also holds a BSc in economics and a master's in data and information science. With extensive experience spanning over 28 years in information technology, library automation, and digitization, our chairman of the IT section has facilitated over 100 trainings and workshops. I think at this point, pardon me to bring him up so that you see his real face. I know this one is just picture. Mr. Patrick, good evening, sir. I mean, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, my brother. Good afternoon.
So let them not think that I'm just speaking grammar. Let them see you and know that this is the person I'm talking about. How is Ibadan today?
Ibadan is beautiful. Very beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So Mr. Patrick chairs this section of the NLA, and pardon me, this information was not updated. So, so ladies and gentlemen, pardon me I think this is the point. I think I've spoken so much already. Mr. Patrick, over to you as you take us with the opening remarks for today's session. Over to you, sir.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Sylvester, our own digital librarian. Thank you for the good job you are doing. Thank you for not relenting in doing good. I appreciate you greatly. Mr. Sylvester, known as digital librarian, is also an ESCO in the NLA IT section, doing justice and wonderfully well in the secretariat of the section. Thank you so very much. I'm not going to speak so much this afternoon because I really don't want to take our time with my welcome address, because what we want to do today is something that that I promise you'll be happy you are part of. NLIT section is just a section of the Nigerian Library Association that deals with IT related issues in the profession. And over the years, we have empowered librarians. We have moved from institution to institution, from state to state, to empower librarians on IT related issues. And this today, we're having the third edition of the virtual workshop series for 2024. For those who attended the first and second one, you agree with me that that was you had awesome experiences, in those sections. And one thing that is unique about us is that we don't just pick resource persons. We look out for seasoned hands, people who are authoritative when it comes to ICT in librarianship, people who have who beyond having academic qualifications, have practical industry-based experience. Sometimes what we learn in classes is not what we see on the field. But when you have someone who has been to class and have also been on the field, delivering and facing different challenges at different times, giving you a training, you agree with me that such training, once you go back to field and apply, you just go ahead and get results, because it is a tested, it is tested and trusted information that you are being given. So this afternoon, I want to say welcome to everyone to this edition, to the third edition, of this virtual workshop series. I want to beg you, like I always do. I always tell people, when you say somebody is IT guru, it's not because he read IT. It's not because he loves talking about IT, but it's because he has put his hand on different aspects of IT. He become a guru by doing. You don't become a guru by just reading. So I want to beg us, please, the few minutes we'll be spending together with our highly resourceful facilitator, please take a good advantage of it. It's not somebody that you see and that you have opportunities to grab every day. This man is on the field. He's a practical person to the core. Please take this moment, take this opportunity to grab what you can grab, and ensure that after this minute, put your hand on the system and practice what you have been able to grab. That is the only time you can say that this concept, I know it. If you listen to it and you're not able to put your hand on the system to get it done, you don't know it yet until you are able to get it done. I want to encourage you, sit tight, fasten your seatbelt. We're about to fly. We're about to move into soar, at a high pedestal, a high altitude. Please get ready and pick, learn, acquire knowledge, and go ahead to implement. Thank you so much for being with us. We appreciate you greatly. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Where are those clapping? Where are those appreciating our chairman? Thank you so much for that wonderful charge.
Appreciate yourself.
Please, I can't see your comments, so please just acknowledge the chairman for that wonderful charge and motivation before we introduce our resource person. Surprise, surprise. Ta-da! Welcome, Engineer SEUN. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, sir. How are you, sir?
I'm good.
And how is the United States of America today, or where are you, sir?
I'm currently in Osogbo, Osun State, Nigeria. Okay.
Wow, that's beautiful.
I'm good. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. I wanted to briefly introduce our viewers and our participants here to who and the wonderful person that you are. So let me do my best. I just pray I'm able to do justice to it, but pardon me, everyone. I would like to quickly introduce to us our resource person for today. Okay. Our resource person for today is Engineer SEUN Adewoye. Engineer SEUN Adewoye. He is a seasoned DevOps engineer with 15 years of experience in library automation. He has consulted for numerous prestigious institutions, including University of Lagos, University of Abuja, University of Ilorin, Obafemi Awolowo University, Taylor's University, Malaysia, and many others. With a strong track record of solving complex problems, Seun possesses a broad range of expertise. And just like the NLA chairman had said, um, this is somebody that you won't usually just grab on a free platform like this because of the value he brings to the table. And with the resource at our disposal, and we now have this man before you, brought to you by the NLA IT section. So please grab this opportunity. And for somebody like me too, I have learned from him a lot also. I'm also attesting to the man you are about to listen to. His notable certifications include Amazon Certified Solution Architect, Red Hat Certified Engineer, and so many others. He's also Microsoft Certified IT Professional, and his extensive experience and certifications actually make him a very valuable asset in the field of library automation and DevOps engineering. So, ladies and gentlemen, pardon me, permit me to make welcome our resource person for today, Engineer Seun Adewoye. Please
Thank
let us
you.
hit the like button, hit it seven
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
clap, drop your hands, drop emojis, hit
Thank you.
follow the channel, subscribe to the channel, and follow the Facebook page and all that, just to show your love.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Sylvester. Thank you, my honorable chairman.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. So much. I'm glad to be here today. Yeah, I'm glad to be here. So today we are going to be looking at a very important subject, okay? Very important subject, and it's titled Demystifying, cloud computing. So I'm going to be going straight to the workshop right away. Okay, so yeah, so we're starting right away. So thank you once again, Mr. Chairman and Mr. Sylvester. Thank you. I really appreciate you for bringing me on board, to take this workshop. Thank you, NLA Nigeria. So yeah, so we are starting right away, demystifying cloud computing. So yeah, the topic is quite exciting. Cloud. We have, if you look at the topic, we have two components in the topic. We have cloud, we have computing. And when we're talking about cloud, are we talking about the cloud we are looking at in the sky? Is it the cloud? Of course, the computing component, we are familiar with it. All right. So I will shed more light on that component of cloud and computing. So we are going to marry both of them together and see how they applied in real life. Okay. So demystifying cloud computing. So now we'll be looking at foundation. We're going to be looking at how website works. That's the first thing we need to know. Before we talk about cloud computing, there are so many components that works within cloud computing. Okay. There are so many components like clients, users, servers, website, browsers, and the likes. So we are going to be looking at some of those components first before we delve into the actual, definition of cloud computing. And I promise us that this session is going to be practical. So I have two practical sessions for us today. So please, I want to encourage you to stay connected and stay tuned. Don't disconnect. So we're looking at the component of a site, the component of a server. All right. What is the essence of a server? So as a client, how do you communicate with a server? All right. What are the problems with traditional IT? Okay. What are the problems with managing your data center, with managing your server? or managing your systems. What are the problems with them? Then next, we'll look at the definition of cloud computing. The definition of cloud computing, then the model, the hybrid, the private, the public. We'll look at the model. Then we'll look at the problem solved by cloud computing. All right. Then next, we'll look at the type of cloud computing we have, and thereafter, will we consider the top 8 cloud computing companies in the world, right now as at 2024, the top 8 cloud computing in the world. Okay. Then next, we'll now delve into the practical session. We'll look at the topmost cloud computing companies in the world, which is AWS. So I'm going to log into AWS dashboard. I'm going to run us through some of the services, features. We're going to test some of the services in AWS and see how they works. Okay, so we'll look at that, and we're going to check some services related to library operations in AWS, and how we can apply this in our daily life. Okay, next we'll now look at another practical session, which is called infrastructure as code. This section is for developers. I intentionally add this section for the sake of advanced users that are here this afternoon, so that we can have something to gain. So we're going to be looking at how to use code to create servers, how to write code to create your servers in the cloud. Okay, and the purpose of doing that, and what are the benefits of doing that. So we'll see that at the end of this course. Next, now let's look at how websites work. The next slide, how websites work. Now, if you are talking about a site, we have what we call the client. Okay, the client, the server. I want to buy something on Konga. I want to watch video on Netflix. I want to check my mail. How does it happen? Okay, I open my browser. I go to www.netflix.com, right? Then Netflix, my browser will connect to Netflix server, isn't it? To pull down the information. All right. So as clients, we use network to connect to the server. So I have my system. I want to connect to Google server. Then I have to use the network. I have to use the internet. And meanwhile, without IP address, I won't be able to communicate with the remote server. So IP address, they are unique identifiers. They give identity to all the devices on the network. So if I want to communicate with, let me say, Google server, then Google server must know my IP. Then I must know the IP of Google server. Okay, so this is where what we call the DNS comes in. All right. So the first thing I want to establish here is that the client server architecture, the client server. So everything you are doing on your system, on your browser, is actually communicating with a remote server in the cloud through the internet, through the network. Okay, through the public network called internet. All right. Next, now, what are the components of this server we are talking about? We are talking about Google server, Netflix server, maybe Unilag server, let me say, Lagos State government server. So what are the components of this server? Amazon servers. What are the components? Now, the component of the servers, they are something that we are quite familiar with. We have what we call the central processing units. We all know this CPU, which is responsible for what? For computational task. The memory, we have the storage, we have the power supply, we have the motherboard, we have the network interface card. We are looking at the components of a server now. We have the cooling system, operating, that's the hardware component. We have the software component too. The operating systems, the server softwares, the database, the firmware. Those are the components of a server. All right. Now, this will take me to the next slide. Now, the problem of managing a local server. The problem of managing a local server. So, we can move to the next slide, please. The problem of managing the local server. What are the problem? The number one problem is high initial costs. High initial costs. The cost, the significant upfront investment in hardware, in software, and data center facilities. Okay, so the cost of maintenance is one, the ongoing cost, the upgrading cost, the repairing costs. That is the number two, scalability issue. If you have a local server, it's usually very difficult in scaling the resources up and down very quickly to meet changing workload. Okay, so for example, now if you have a local server and you want to scale, most likely you have to shut down the server, change the RAM, put on the server back, and all that. It's going to take a while, maybe some hours, which will lead to some downtimes. Okay, so the scalability is limited, for traditional IT approach, and also over provisioning and under provisioning of capacity. You can have a server that is running, let me say, 32 gig RAM, 8-core processor, 1 terabyte hard disk, that the entire usage is not less than 3 or 4%. So we are wasting the resources. We are not maximizing the resources. Then another challenges with traditional IT approach is limited flexibility. It's not flexible. It is constrained to a particular geography. Okay, so it constrained to a particular location. All right, so it can withstand failover or a data center loss. So once the data center is down, the entire infrastructure is down. Then another issue is performance bottleneck. Aging hardware, degradation of hardware over time, and the likes. Then another one is disaster recovery. So I'm talking about a problem with managing your server yourself or managing a local server. Disaster recovery challenges. Implementing a robust backup and disaster can be very difficult. For a local server or for a local data center. So there's high risk of data loss due to hardware failure, natural disaster, or security breaches. All right. Then limited collaboration tools, security concerns. All right. So it requires significant resources and expertise to implement and maintain a robust security measure. So traditional system may not be able to equip with the latest security technology and protocol. Okay, you'll not be able to effect with it. Then innovation and speed is there, resource management, environmental impact, and the likes. Now, can we externalize all this other than stressing yourself, managing a local server? Can you externalize all this? Then this will take us to what we call cloud. What is cloud computing? So it's going to take us to cloud computing. What is cloud computing? Now, cloud computing is the on-demand delivery. Take note, I said on-demand. That keyword is very, very important. On demand. It is when you need it. On-demand delivery of computing services, including server, storage, databases, networking applications, and so on, over the internet. Okay? Over the internet. So you can think of a cloud as renting a computer resources instead of owning them. Instead of buying and maintaining your own servers or storage or software, you access the resources over the internet, from a provider, like AWS, like Google, like Microsoft. It can even be a private, cloud provider like Rackspace. Okay, so take note of that. So it is on-demand delivery of computing services on demand. And it is usually pay as you go pricing. Okay, so you only pay for what you use. That's what we call it on demand. You demand, you request for it when you need it, and if you don't need it, return it back. So you pay for what you use. So pay as you go pricing. So you can provision exactly the right type of size of computing resources you want in the cloud. For example, if I want 2 gig, 2-core processor, 30 gig SSD, I can have it within seconds. I can have it in the cloud. So you can access almost any resources instantly, many resources instantly, via cloud computing. Now, what are the example of cloud services? Example of cloud services. We are all familiar with these services. Okay, we are familiar with them. Some of them are, your Gmail is being powered by cloud. Your Google, your Dropbox is being powered by cloud services. So all these applications, they run inside the cloud. Netflix run on AWS. Okay, Dropbox is run on AWS, Amazon Web Services. So all these applications you use, they run in the cloud. They run, on AWS, GCP, Azure, DigitalOcean, and the likes, or a private cloud. It can even be a private cloud. All right. Now, what are the model? Let's look at the model. The deployment model of the cloud. We have different models when it comes to cloud computing. We have the private cloud, the public cloud, and the hybrid cloud. So a private cloud is a cloud computing environment exclusively used by an organization. So it's private to you. So it can be located at the organization. It can be on site. The next slide, please. It can be on site, or it can be hosted by a third-party provider. Okay? All right, so what are the key features of private cloud? The resources are not shared with any other organization for a private cloud. So you have control over the infrastructure. Okay, and it offers high security and privacy. Example of companies that use private cloud, they are banks. Like enterprise with stringent regulatory and security requirements, they use private cloud. Like banks, like healthcare provider, financial institutions, they use private cloud. Now let's look at public cloud. So a public cloud is a computing environment where the services are delivered over the internet or shared across multiple organizations. We call it tenant. That's the key word, tenant. So the infrastructure is owned and operated by a third-party cloud service provider like AWS, like Google, like Azure, like DigitalOcean, and the likes. So that's a public cloud. So they can scale resources quickly, on demand, up and down. The features of public cloud, okay, and they operate pay-as-you-go pricing. I've explained this earlier. You only pay for what you use, okay? And you can access public cloud from anywhere, all over the world. The use cases, number one, a small to medium-sized business, they can use public cloud. Organizations looking for flexibility and scalability, without need to manage their physical infrastructure, they can consider public cloud, going forward. Then lastly, we have what we call the hybrid cloud. The hybrid cloud combines both the private and public cloud. So which allow data to be shared between them. So it provides flexibility and more deployment option for you. For example, an organization can decide to maintain critical data in a private cloud while leveraging the public cloud for less sensitive data. We get it. For cost efficiency. Now we move to the next slide. So we've talked about the private cloud, the hybrid cloud, and the public cloud. Don't worry, I will demonstrate this for us practically, using AWS. and Terraform. Now, what are the problems solved by cloud computing? The problem, number one, is on-demand self-service. Okay, traditional IT approach requires that you set up a server, install software manually, IT staff intervention, so many to cross. But with cloud, users can provision computing resources almost immediately without human intervention, automatically. All right, automatically, instant provisioning. You can even use API if you're a programmer to provision your resources in the cloud. Another challenge, another problem solved is scalability. Scalability. Easily scale resources up and down based on demand. So in the cloud, you can scale your resources based on demand. You can scale up, you can scale down. So for a traditional IT setup, scaling up requires purchasing and installing new hardware, a process that can be time-consuming and expensive. But in the cloud, you can adjust capacity within seconds, even or automatically. You can scale. Then another thing is elasticity. Elasticity. Traditional IT approach, it leads to inefficiency and wastage of resources. Most of the time, we don't really optimize our server. It's either we overutilize it or underutilize our servers. But in the cloud, we have what we call elasticity. So your application can adjust based on workload. Based on workload. For example, now, I have an application, let me say with the library management system of my institution. In the morning, the traffic is not much. So I can run the application on, let me say, 4 gig RAM, 4-core processor. Then in the afternoon, I have more traffic, a lot of traffic. Then the system will adjust automatically. It will scale. The RAM will increase to 8 gig. The processor will increase to like maybe 8 core to accommodate the load automatically. And in the afternoon, no more users, no more traffic. The server will go back again to 4 gig RAM, 4 core. Elasticity. It can scale up, it can scale down, it can scale out, it can scale in. We'll talk about that later. It's possible in the cloud. So you can have a setup in the cloud that responds to load demand, that adjusts to your load demand, which is very difficult to implement in traditional setup. Another one is high availability. High availability. On-premise setup often have single point of failure and can lead to downtime. Okay, I have availability. Okay, most of the time on-ground setup usually have a single data center, but in cloud you can have your data replicated to multiple data centers. For example, in AWS, they have data centers in different parts of the world: in the United States, in Europe, in Africa, in Asia, in Oceania. And within United States, they have what we call availability zones. So they have different data centers. So you can have your data replicated to multiple data centers. So even if a data center is down, you can be rest assured that your information is available in another data center. We call it multi-region or multi-AZ. I'm still coming to that. So it's high availability. So ability to be able to sustain a single data center loss is possible in cloud computing. Okay, the disaster recovery, you can implement comprehensive disaster recovery plans in cloud computing. In traditional IT approach, this can be very expensive and complex. But with cloud computing, with a single click of a button, you can implement disaster recovery easily. Then security. Security. We all know that security requires significant investment in infrastructure and expertise. So keeping up with latest threats and updates can be challenging for a local data center. Okay, and cloud provider like Google, like GCP, like Azure, they invest heavily in state-of-the-art security technology and protocols. So you can be rest assured that your data is safe. And lastly, we have cost effectiveness. You pay as you go. You pay, if you have a project that is maybe for 1 or 2 days, you can spin up a server. Then once you are through, destroy it. And you only pay for 2 days. Or even if it is 10 minutes, you only pay for that 10 minutes. All right, you can pay as you go. You can pay per minute or pay per seconds, depending on the type of instance or servers you are buying. Now, let's look at scalability. The next slide, scalability and high availability. Scalability and high availability. Scalability means that an application or system can handle greater load by adapting. It can scale. Is either you scale up or scale out. I'm coming to that. And there are two types of scaling in cloud computing. We have what we call vertical scaling and horizontal scaling. Okay, vertical scaling, horizontal scaling. Now let's dive deep into this. Now, what is vertical scaling? Vertical scaling means increasing the number, the size of an existing node. Okay, for example, you have a server that's running on 4 gig RAM and 4 core CPU, and you want to scale it up. Then you increase it to 8 gig RAM, 8 core CPU. You scale it up again, you increase it to 16 gig RAM, 16 core CPU. You scale it up again until you max it out. Now, vertical scaling has a limit. So you are scaling, you are increasing the capacity of a single system. That is vertical scaling. Increasing the capacity of a single system. At some point, you will reach the limit of that system. Okay? So vertical scaling is not suitable for distributed system. It has a limit. It has hardware limit. And that will take us to horizontal scaling. Horizontal scaling means you are adding more systems. This time around, we are adding more computer, more servers, more systems, more instance. Okay? We are increasing the instance. So horizontal scaling implies distributed systems. What? Distributed systems. It's common for web application, modern application. You know, your Facebook, your Gmail, your Netflix, they run on horizontal scaling solution. And with Azure, with GCP, with AWS, DigitalOcean, cloud providers, you can scale easily. You can do vertical scaling, horizontal scaling, automatically or manually, very quickly. Very quickly. Okay. In AWS, there's what we call auto-scaling group. So your system can scale based on some criteria that you specify. Maybe you can say, when it is 2 p.m., add more nodes. Maybe you emphasize by 2 p.m., more traffic will be coming to your server. So you can scale. You can instruct auto-scaling group to add more nodes. All right, during that period of time. And when it is over, all the node will be removed to save costs. Okay, that is scalability and high availability. So take note of the concept: scalability, high availability. Scalability means scaling up or scaling out. High availability means having your data in multiple data centers, in multiple regions, in multiple locations. That's high availability. Okay? Take note of that. Now, the type of cloud computing. Let's look at the type of cloud computing before we go to practical now. We are closer to practical session. The type of cloud computing. Next slide. Next slide. Next slide again. The type of cloud computing. The first one is infrastructure as code. Infrastructure as code. It means you are buying a bare metal server. You are renting a virtual machine, and hardware, a physical computer systems, maybe from Azure, from GCP, from Microsoft and the likes. So you are provisioning a networking, compute, and data center storage. Okay? So IaaS provide virtualized computing resources over the internet Okay, it's like renting a virtual hardware. So you are dealing with the physical server. That is infrastructure as service. A platform as service removes the need for you to manage the infrastructure. Example, we have Google App Engine, Heroku, Elastic, Beanstalk, and the likes. It is more suitable for developers actually. And lastly, we have what we call the software as a service, which we are all familiar with. Okay, so like your Zoom, like your Gmail, like Google Drive, Office 365, they are software as a service, completed product that is run and managed by a service provider. Okay, they are software as a service. Your Netflix, they are software as a service. So the three models we have in cloud computing, they are infrastructure as code, platform as a service, then software as a service. Now, we are getting close to the practical session. Let's look at the market share of leading cloud provider in first quarter of 2024. As at first quarter of 2024, AWS has 31% of the market share. Next slide, please. Next slide. Amazon has 31% of the market share. Then Azure has 25% of the market share, right? Then Google Cloud, it has 11% of the market share. Then Alibaba Cloud, Salesforce, we can see the trend from the slide on the screen. And the cloud infrastructure service revenue in Q1 2024 is $76 billion. $76 billion. So we move to the next point. Now we look at example of cloud computing in digital library. Next slide. Example of cloud computing in digital library. So how do you apply cloud computing in digital library? So you can have a cloud-based storage for your ebooks, articles, research papers, accessible to patron worldwide. Unlike catalogs, your core, your disk space, they can be hosted in the cloud. So you can scale based on demand. So you don't need to waste your money or waste your resources. Okay, so cloud, library catalogs and the likes. Then virtualized environments, VRE, artificial intelligence and machine learning platforms, and the like. So the list is actually inexhaustive. So it's more than this. So I'm going to be showing us some of these services practically, and that should be the next slide. Okay, so we'll be going to the practical session now. So I'm going to be using AWS to demonstrate this for us. So AWS has the largest share in cloud, cloud markets. They have the largest share in cloud markets, 31%. 31 what? Percent. So we'll be looking at some of the services in AWS. We look at their server, we look at their storage, their drive, S3, we look at extract, comprehend, recognition, AI services, transcribe, Mercy, and several others. As of today, AWS, they have over 300 services. Over 300 services. So I'm going to be sharing my screen now so that we can see. So we are going to the practical session now using AWS. So let me go to my browser. So can we all see my screen? Can we see my screen?
Yes, sir. We can see your screen very clearly, sir.
So that is great. So I want to demonstrate how cloud computing service work. So I'm using AWS as a case study. Okay, I've logged in now. The first thing to do, if you want to log into AWS, is you have to go to Google, use AWS login, management console. You have to log in first through the management console. Sign in. Click on sign into the management console. The good thing is that as a new user, AWS gives you some free credits, and you have access to some free services within 1 year of signing up. So they won't charge you for some services within 1 year of signing up, though they have some limits. Okay, so this is AWS dashboard. So if you look at services, you can see all the services available in Amazon Cloud. This is Amazon Cloud. So as I'm talking to you, they have more than 300 services that cut across analytic, blockchain, application integration, business application, compute, containers, database, developer tools, end user computing, game development, Internet of Things, machine learning, management of governance, media services, satellite, security and identity, and the storage. So they have range of services across different fields. Okay, so today we'll be looking at some of those services for the sake of the practical. So the first one we're going to be looking at for today is the server, the virtual server in AWS. We call it EC2 instance. That's the name. EC2 instance. The same thing as your virtual server. Okay, where you can install, you can deploy your application. It's called EC2 instance. So this is AWS. So I will search for EC2. It's a service in AWS. Okay, so this is infrastructure as a service. So EC2 is infrastructure as a service. So it's a virtual services in the cloud. Okay, I'm clicking on EC2. I want to launch a server now in AWS. So just follow me. I want to launch a server. So I'm currently on the dashboard of EC2. Now, before we do that, let's look at EC2 instant type. I want to show us the different type available. I mean, the size of the compute capacity available. If you scroll down, okay, this is not what I want to check. Yeah, this compute capacity. Now, if you scroll down in AWS, we have different compute type. We have general purpose. These are different types of servers, the virtual servers. All these, they are virtual servers, depending on the requirement. So general purpose, they are servers that provide a balance of compute, memory, and networking. Okay, so you can see some of the examples here. You can see them here. So these are the servers. M7 I large, see the size, the CPU, the RAM, the storage, the network, the bandwidth. So for the sake of this demo, we'll be using compute optimize. And so let me see, T2 micro, general purpose. So we're using general purpose, which is T2, T2 micro. So T2 micro is 1 core, 6 credit hour, 1 gig memory, and then EBS storage. So I'm going to be using this virtual server for our demo. So I'm going to go back to my AWS dashboard. So I want to create a virtual server. Okay, so how do I go about it? So I want to demonstrate the capability of cloud computing for us. So you can create servers within minutes. You can create servers even within seconds using Terraform. I'm still coming to that. So let me launch a server. I'm going to launch a server. I'm going to give it a name. I can call it my core server. Then I'm going to choose the operating system I want. I want Ubuntu. Then next, I'm going to select, Ubuntu. Can you see it's free tier eligible? So I'm using the free tier eligible version. Then next, I'll choose my instant type. That means the capacity of the server. So if I click this drop down, I can see different options. T2 nano, T2 micro, scroll down, T2 small. So T2 micro, that is 1 vCPU and 1 gig RAM. That's the capacity. Then I will ignore all the rest configuration because of time. Then I will click on launch. So I'll click on launch. So I'll give it, okay, I'm going to create a key pair. I'll call it core. A key pair, just for accessing the server. I'll click on launch. So I've launched my server successfully within minutes. Within minutes. So it's creating my virtual server currently. It's pending. It's going to be active very soon. It's pending. So it's running now. So let me connect to my server. I can connect to my server. Let me connect to it. You can use SSH to connect to your server. You can use public key. So you can use what we call instant connect in AWS. I just want to demonstrate this for us to see. So I'm connected to my server now. Can you see now? Within less than 2-3 minutes, I have my server running in the cloud. All right. It's running. Can you see my server? So this is my Ubuntu server in AWS. Let me check the capacity. You can see, so this is 1 core and 1 vCPU. So within minutes, I was able to launch my instance. Now, another example, if I want to scale, assuming my application requires more load, more CPU, more RAM, how do I go about it? In the cloud, how do I scale? How do you scale? It is very simple. Okay, you stop the instance. So I'm demonstrating the power of cloud for us. I want to scale that instance to a higher capacity. Okay, the other time we are using T2 micro, and T2 micro is 1 vCPU and 1 gig RAM. This time around, I want to go to T2 medium, which is 2 vCPU and 4 gig RAM. T2 medium. I want to scale. I want to increase the capacity. Scalability. I want to scale out. So how do I do that? I'll go back to my instance. I'll click my instance. I'm going to be teaching us how to do this using software, writing programs, writing code too. So I'll go to action. Yeah, I think it should be under instance settings. Change instant type. So I want to change my instant type to T2. So we are going to T2 medium. T2 medium. T2 medium. So T2 medium. Fine. Then I'll click on apply. So I've scaled. Then can you see now T2 medium? So now I have 2 vCPU and 4 gig RAM. Then I will start my instance back. So I'm starting my server. So within minutes, I am able to scale. You can achieve this within seconds using IAC, infrastructure as code software, like Terraform, like Ansible, like Chef, like Puppet. Okay, so I'm able to scale within minutes using cloud. And then assuming I don't need the server again, I can destroy it. Okay, I can destroy it. So assuming I'm through with my project, I don't need this server again. Then what do? You can destroy it. Then take note, please. If you are running cloud, any resources you are not using, make sure you destroy that resources. Otherwise, you'll be incurring charges. In the cloud, any resources that you are not using, always make sure you destroy them. Otherwise, you'll be incurring additional charges. Okay, very, very important. So I'm going to destroy this core server now. I'm through with the demonstration. I don't need it again. So I can destroy it. But before I destroy it, let us check. Let me connect to it and check the capacity. Let's check the capacity of that core server. Okay, we're checking now. It's connecting. So I'm on the terminal. I want to check the capacity. Now, can you see now I have 2 processors, 0, 1. I have 2 processor and I have 4 gig RAM. The initial one, T2 micro, it is 1 processor, 1 gig RAM. So I've scaled up, using the cloud. I'm going to exit this command line now. So now I want to destroy this instance. I don't need it again. I can destroy it. I can click on the instance. I can come to instance, terminate, then terminate the instance. It's terminated. So that is the power of the cloud. Now, let us look at some other services too, like transcribe. Let's look at comprehend first. Amazon Comprehend. So you can go online, sign up on AWS, and explore these services. We have Comprehend. So it's a natural language processing and text analytic. Okay? So it uses machine learning to find insight and relationship in text. So librarians can use this. Okay? So this is, what's it called? Amazon Comprehend. Then we have Mercy too, Amazon Mercy. So I'm just checking some AWS services. Amazon Mercy. Amazon Mercy. You can protect your sensitive data using Amazon Mercy. It's a security as a service application. Then we have let's look at recognition. So Amazon has over 300 services in the cloud. Recognition. You can say recognition. It's a deep learning based visual analysis service. It can search, it can verify, it can organize millions of images and videos from your document, from your video. So you can see the spotlights and the likes. So let's look at Amazon Comprehend. Another one, Comprehend. Okay, we've checked Comprehend before. Textract. Amazon Textract. So automatically extract handwritten text or data from any document using machine learning. So librarians, they can use this, okay, to extract data, from documents using machine learning. Then if you scroll down, you will see the benefits, see the feature, the use cases, and all the likes. So I encourage everyone to sign up on AWS or GCP. Google, they have similar services too, and Microsoft. On GCP, on Azure, sign up, explore their services, and look at the one that can suit your purpose or apply to you. So that is quick overview of Amazon Cloud. So they have over 300 services, both infrastructure as code, software as a service, platform as a service. Okay, all right, take note of that. So next, we'll be going straight to the next slide, which is, this is the last practical session, infrastructure as code. This is a bit technical, but I introduced this session for developers here and for others that want to learn too. Okay, so you can use IAC, to provision and manage servers using code. The other time, when I was working on AWS, I was clicking, using my mouse to create servers. But this time around, I want to use code to create my server. So software like Terraform, like CloudFormation, like Puppet, like Shelf, we can use them to automate server provisioning. You can provision network, provision firewall, storage, servers, databases, and the likes in the cloud. And what are the benefits of infrastructure as code? Number one is consistency and reproducibility. Okay, it ensures that your environment are consistent across development, testing, and production, services. So if you have a development server and you want to replicate what's on development to testing to production, you can use infrastructure as code to do that easily. So you can easily reproduce environments by applying the same code to create similar setups. You can even back up your entire infrastructure as a code. You can have it as a backup inside the code. Then speed and efficiency. You can quickly provision and configure infrastructure with speed. For example, imagine I want to create 100 servers. It's going to take me hours to create 100 servers using my mouse. I can write code. I can use Terraform functions. I can use counts. I can use variables, Splat expressions, dynamic groups, and the likes to create my servers using, code. And then it reduces manual intervention, and it streamlines processes and reduces the likelihood of human error. Okay, I'm talking about benefit of infrastructure as code. So it reduces manual intervention, then it streamlines the processes and reduce likelihood of human error. Then scalability. You can easily scale using, infrastructure as code, cost management, error reduction, disaster recovery. You can easily recreate your environment in case of disaster by just uploading your code, by applying your code. All your environment will be created within minutes. You have everything back, okay, using code. Now, so I'm going to be demonstrating to us how to use, how to create virtual server. Next slide, please. How to create virtual server in AWS using Terraform. So there are several softwares you can use for that purpose, but I'm going to be using Terraform. Why? Because Terraform supports multiple cloud providers. So with Terraform, you can manage multiple cloud providers: Oracle, Amazon, Azure, Google Cloud, Kubernetes, and the likes, using through the providers. I'm not going to be diving deep into IAC because of the complexity. I just want to demonstrate the power of cloud for us to see, the power of cloud computing for us to see. So I'm going to be creating virtual server using Terraform. So I'm going to be sharing my screen now, my Visual Studio Code, so that we can see that. A moment, please. You will see my screen shortly. Just give me some minutes. I want to get it ready. We are almost through with this training. This is the last session. So I'll be sharing my screen soon. Just give me a minute. Give me a minute or less than that. So I want to share my screen now for us to see. Let me quickly share my screen. I'm doing that right away. All right, present, share screen, share my screen, share my, yeah. Can we see my Visual Studio Code screen? We should be able to see it now. Can we see the screen now?
We see your screen now, sir. Thank you.
All right, good. So good. Now I want to demonstrate how to create virtual servers in the cloud using Terraform. So I have a code here that I wrote. So I have the provider, AWS is the provider. It can be Azure too. So before now, I've configured this software to authenticate to AWS already. It has been configured to authenticate with AWS. So I'm not going to be taking us through that process because of our time. Then now I'm going to create the server in US West 2 region. So in AWS, we have different regions in AWS, depending on the location of the data center. So I'm going to be creating my server in UA West 2 region, United States. Then my resources is EC2 instance, a virtual server. That's the name. Then the name of that server is my core server. Then AMI is talking about the operating system I want to use, which is Ubuntu. So I got this one from Amazon Cloud. Okay. Then the instance type, remember T2 micro. T2 micro, that is 1 vCPU, 1 gig RAM. Then count 2. So I want to create 2 EC2 instance. Let me say I want to create 4. Let me say 5 using Terraform. So we are going to see the power of cloud now. So I'm going to do that now. Terraform, apply. Auto approve. So I'm already creating my instance now. Good. So it's been created. So let's go back to Amazon Cloud to check. So I'll go back to my EC2 instance. I'm creating 5 instances now. Let me go back to my instance. And the region is US West 2. This is the region. You can see the region. US West 2. Let me share my entire screen so that we can see everything at a go. Let me just share my entire screen using so I'll stop sharing now. I'll share my entire screen now. Present, share the entire screen. Okay. So I'm sharing my entire screen so that we can easily follow. So I'm currently on my EC2 dashboard. Now, can we see my dashboard? Can you see my dashboard? Can
yes,
you see, I have 5 servers. Can you see it? Automatically created using code.
Yes, we see it.
Yeah, so I was able to achieve this using writing some code to create that. I can as well destroy it. I can destroy my those servers. Let's check. You will see it now. It's been destroyed. Just be watching. You will see it now being destroyed. Let me check my Terraform code. It's still running. So
somebody is asking right now on the screen, Chinwe Wonkolo, if you destroy it, what happens to the information you saved?
Of course, definitely, I don't have any information on it. That's why I'm destroying it. I don't need it again.
What if you have information?
Everything will be lost. Everything will be lost. Okay, if I have information on it, I won't destroy it.
Okay.
Yeah, I won't destroy it. Then there's a way to lock your instance against accidental destruction. Okay, you can lock it. There's a way to do that too in AWS. All right. So everything has been destroyed, okay, because I don't need it again. I just demonstrate to us how to use code to create servers, to manage servers. Same way I can write code to manage other infrastructures in the cloud, firewall, S3, Amazon S3, similar to Google Drive or Dropbox. It's called S3 in Amazon S3. So I can use code to create almost any infrastructure, in the cloud. Okay, so that's the power of the cloud. So automation, scalability, elasticity, security, and the likes. Okay. In conclusion, cloud computing is not just. So we can go to the next slide. You can just let me stop sharing my screen. For you can just go to the we can go to the next slide. not this slide, the one before this. Yeah, in conclusion, cloud computing is not just a technology advancement. It's a shift that offers libraries flexibility, efficiency, and reach. So by leveraging cloud services, libraries can enhance their offerings. They can streamline their operations. They can better serve their patrons, their users. Okay, so I want to thank you for your attention. And yeah, so if you are looking for cloud services, we have some cloud services provided by SEUN hosts. So you can check this slide to maybe for your DSpace or for your COA. You can see the services here and our contact number too, to learn more about our cloud services that we offer. So thank you for listening. Thank you, everyone. And I'll be handing over to the facilitator or the moderator to take us further. So thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
I see Mr. Patrick clapping. I see a lot of comments coming through. Abubakar says, wow, nice presentation, sir. Please, can we have a soft copy of this, sir? Yes, only those who fill the attendance form will get a copy of this presentation and a certificate that you have participated in a workshop that taught you about cloud computing, because cloud computing is really where everyone is going into right now. Having heavy servers in the library or in your company, it's no more the in thing, right? You need to push that responsibility to some people, and then you just pay them to keep your files for you. And Madam Eukaria says, great presentation. Yes, Micah, everybody over here is clapping. Alisa says, this is impacting. Good job. So, Engineer Shane, I want you to know that everyone here is really excited at your delivery. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I'm glad to be here. You're welcome.
Yes, sir. So I'm going to allow Mr. Patrick just share a few thoughts to, also to add to appreciation. Then we will call for questions. I know there are a few questions I saw. I will bring them up. But for now, let's hear from our chairman.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sylvester. Engineer Sheo, thank you so very, very much. This is really expository and really mind-blowing. I know a couple of people will think it's a bit advanced. Some will think, why don't you take more time to go into this and all that? I want to tell you that what we have just gotten this afternoon, the little practical session you just had this afternoon, is what somebody has charged you hundreds of thousands of naira for in the past that you never knew. I usually like to share my experiences. There was a time in my library that years back, somebody hosted the website for us, and then said he was hosting in the cloud, gave us, was going to host some of our resources too in the cloud for us, and then gave us that stuff, and then I was supposed to manage it. That was years back. So as one day I was supposed to upload an information that we needed the public to see urgently. And I was trying to upload that information, it wasn't working. I did it, I had to go to the ICT center, slept, worked overnight. On the long run, I just realized that the thing wasn't working. Then somebody told me, why don't you understand cloud now, why don't you go check the back end of this guy and see what is going on? And I realized that I couldn't upload those resources because the space that was allocated, to our resources was just about 500 meg. I never knew. The guy put us on a shared cloud and then locked us somewhere. He didn't enable, auto scalability. So he couldn't scale. He needed a little intervention to just scale, and have our resources up there. Guess what? This guy collected money for 1 terabyte space.
Wow.
We paid him for 1 terabyte space, and he just bought, I think he bought about 500 gig, and he was hosting a lot of organizations on that space and gave us like 500 meg because he felt we didn't have so much. But we didn't know. We didn't know. And we were paying so much. We were paying for different institutions. He was just collecting money from all of them around, and was a big boy. So what we have just gotten is an eye opener. If you want to ask your barber to cut your hair for you, you must have an idea of the style you want to cut. You must have an insight into what exactly you want to do, what you want to achieve. And that is what he has opened up to us this afternoon. He has exposed to us this afternoon. Engineer SEUN is a seasoned cloud expert. He delivers jobs. He does displays installation and management. He does co-installation and management. He displays, his that company is his company. So if you need the service any day, anytime, I can guarantee, I can speak to it that you get excellent service and you get value for your money. Imagine he has given us this secret. He won't come to work for you and then cheat you again because he knows you have an idea of what you want. He has given you an idea of what you want. Please, in case you have services, please contact him. I am personally currently working on getting him to do some things for me too, because I must tell you, the few times I've met Engineer SEUN, I've learned quite a lot. Has broadened my scope in certain areas and knowledge. We learn every day. This afternoon, I've learned some new things again this afternoon. I've been doing cloud computing. Many of us think cloud computing is just using Google Drive. You say, no, the new cloud computing is where we have opened up to today. We are trusting God to be able to have him around practically, physically with us in Abuja. And I can tell you, you just be that meeting. You just be happy that you are in Abuja. I'm telling you. Because we're going to put some things into your mind that you just open up and say, so this is what you have been missing for years. Thank you so much, engineer. We appreciate you so greatly.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Very sure you oblige us and you are here live and direct with us. Thank you so very much. I hand over to the moderator. Thank you so very much. I appreciate you.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. So at this point, I'm going to be taking questions. First of all, I see a couple of questions. So I'll take the first question. Somebody here is asking, please, where is the attendance form? Ibrahim is asking. And then Madam Chinwe is also saying, wow, how do you fill the attendance form? Please, what is his phone number? So, sir, can I show them? Is this your phone number on the screen?
Yes, that's my phone number on the screen.
Okay, so this is engineer's phone number if you want to reach out to him directly. So we have answered your question. So the next question now is the one that somebody was asking about what is the attendance. If you check now, I just posted the attendance form in the comment section. It's even showing now on the screen. Take notes, as you can see in the scroll bar, that you are required to make a financial commitment of 2,000 naira. That's what we use in ensuring that the logistics for this program are covered. So please make that commitment and you will get the slide, you will get the video to watch again. You will also get a certificate awarded to you by the NLA IT section. Okay, it's just a little amount of 2,000 naira to gain access to these three things that I have mentioned. So once you do that, it takes us about, 5 days or so, 5 working days, and we deliver the certificate and slides to you. So having said that, let us check other intellectual questions. Somebody here is saying, please, is there any consideration for those of us who couldn't register but attended fully to access the materials plus certificate? I think this also might have responded to this question. Then I'm scrolling back up. There was one important question I saw, apart from the person saying whether Because engineer, you were just mentioning destroy. I make people scared. Some people were scared. People like way. You wanted to know this one, you are destroying this whole thing. Are we still going to get what we needed there?
Yeah.
So I'm trying to get further information. But just to ask, how secure is information you put on the cloud? Because there are some people that will never trust information you put on the cloud. Now you are advising that we put important details. What about private details about my company? Do you think it's right for me to put them on the cloud? That's one question while I search for others. You can respond to that, sir.
All right. Thank you so much. So security is a shared responsibility. Okay. I repeat again, is a shared responsibility in the cloud. So the users and the cloud provider. So the cloud provider, they have what's called the standard security measures put in place, like data encryption, access control, firewalls. They are in place, but it's a shared responsibility. So the cloud provider, they are responsible for the security of your cloud infrastructure, including your hardware, your software, your networking, your facilities. But your own responsibility is to secure your data, your application, your configuration in the cloud. So it's a shared responsibility. Thank you.
Okay.
Sorry, let me also quickly add to that. I always say this, and I'll say it again, that there's no absolute security anywhere in the world. There is no absolute security anywhere in the world. Your data is as secured as the security you give to it. Securing your data in the cloud, especially when you are using a paid cloud, can be likened to saying that if I rent a house in Banana Island, I rent an apartment in Banana Island, can I leave my things in the house to travel? When you rent the house, a key is given to you. The security provided on the street. Are you getting it? A security provided on the street. Estate has security. Your house, your rooms also have their own securities. The cloud is like renting that apartment. Somebody has an island, somebody has an estate. I was to be taken on a tour to a cloud service some years ago, and I saw thousands of computers under the ground. You know, and I also had a virtual tour of Facebook server. When they went to get the servers in Israel. It's a 3-story building under the ground, containing just computers alone, providing cloud services to different people. So your information, personal, private, are safe in the cloud if you keep them in a safe cloud. There's no free lunch anywhere in the world. If you are using free services, there are some limitations. But if you are using paid services, you have more control over your data. You have more control over your things in the cloud. The safest place, like I always tell people, is still the cloud. And it's also the most porous. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you so much. So finally, before we leave, Mr. Patrick, please, can you tell us about this event coming up in October at Abuja before we close?
All right, thank you so very much, Mr. Sylvester. This event coming up in Abuja, I see that event as my baby. I see it as my baby because I'm very, very passionate about that event. It's a lit workshop. Lit means Library and Information Technology Today. It's an annual workshop to conference of the IT section of the Nigerian Library Association, where we have a whole week of paper presentation for one day, and then a whole week of hands-on training on different ICT concepts. This year's event is really, really loaded. And I can tell you, if you have enjoyed anything in the last series that we have had, it's just, including what you have had today, is just tips of the iceberg. I can tell you that for free. I can tell you that authoritatively. In Abuja, we'll be taking these concepts headlong. We'll be training on them practically. We'll ensure that before you leave there, whatever concept you pick, you learn it, you do it, and then you take, you also link it up to practical things you can do in your library when you return using these concepts. I want to encourage us. It's really, really promising to be very, very great, because some organizations are already getting interested somehow. The Nigerian NCC, Nigerian Communication Commission, is being involved gradually. The NITDA is being involved gradually, and I can tell you authoritatively that there's going to be a lot to go on with. If you're going to miss anything, please don't miss October 13 to 18 in Abuja, University of Abuja. We'll be having full sections there. We're taking you out of the venue to some on-site places where you can have some hands-on, real-time, industry-based experience during that 1 week. Please, all you need to do is just click on the registration button, register, pay your registration fees, and make sure you are in Abuja. If you're not in Abuja in October, you are nowhere. Please make it a date.
Okay, Chairman has said it all. Chairman has said it all. If you are not in Abuja, I don't know where you are. Okay. So without, since there are no further questions, the only thing I will say right now is, if you're on Facebook watching from the NLEIT section page, there's a follow button. The thing is, NLEIT section, this free event you just attended will continue. And the only way you can have access to it, even though you don't register, is when you follow the Facebook page. So just click on follow. And anytime we have events or we are live like this, you will just get automatic notification. So that's one thing you need to do. And don't forget to click on like this video that you are watching right now if you find it helpful. And then for those of you watching on YouTube, just look around the bottom here. You will see something subscribe. Click on subscribe and it will help you to keep up to date on these issues. So subscribe to this channel, follow the page, and if you like to dance like me and Mr. Patrick, join us in this music as we say goodbye and have a great day.
Great. Right. This dance is dedicated to international.
And thank you so much. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you. We had a great time with you.
Thank you.
Share this video. Share it for free. Share this video for free if you are Facebook. Share it anywhere. Post it anywhere. It's free content. Open science.
Don't forget. 7 p.m. tonight. Don't forget also join that event. Be happy with me.
Okay. So see you all and have a great day.
One piece of advice